all signs are pointing to this. We have a massive Ravens free agency update concerning the Ravens' biggest star. What is going on, everyone? My name is Sam Stewart. Welcome to Ravens Digest. Hope everyone is doing well today. I want to say, just make sure to subscribe to the channel before we get in the top of this video, because we've got some big things coming up, obviously, with off-season camp. And then once we get into the season as well, we're going to be covering everything that concerns the team, trade rumors, updates week to week, pregame coverage, and then post-game analysis as well. So make sure you go ahead and tune in and subscribe so you don't miss anything. All right, everyone, let's dive into the topic of today's video. Now, we've had quite a few different contract extensions going on with the Ravens, a couple of situations. And just to recap, if you haven't been able to see the past couple of videos over the last couple weeks, just a few weeks ago, we had an extension for Derrick Henry, 2 years. Hopefully, the Ravens locking up him with that for the rest of his career. I think he's going to have a lot of output for that. And then also, Rashad Bateman has been extended 3 years with a 2-year, $20 million guarantee part of the deal. That is very, very big. The Ravens have made some great moves this offseason, extending players, trying to keep this championship window open. And as long as they have this guy, Lamar, it is going to stay open. Now, I think something to consider here, too, is they've also made great moves in the draft with Malachi Starks and Mike Green. You know, those are two guys that are going to fill in some needs and make it easier on the secondary with the way they're going to put pressure on the quarterback. Pass defense that's really struggled this year. And also the signing of DeAndre Hopkins, I believe it's going to add a new great element. We did a video a couple days ago talking about John Harbaugh and how he is loving the way DeAndre Hopkins is looking. He's a big physical wide receiver. I think he's going to be great this year as that third, fourth option on the team. He's going to put up big numbers. All right, so with all that said, you might not be thinking we'd be talking about this man this offseason, Lamar Jackson. You might obviously think that, you know, Lamar is locked up this season. There's nothing to really talk about when it comes to Lamar. However, you can never be looking too far into the future, and DeCosta's doing a great job of extending people. And, you know, one thing that a lot of people have noticed is that Lamar, when he signed his deal in 2023, actually had the highest value in terms of a deal value for a player in the league. But now it's actually at 10th. So I'll go ahead and I wanted to point out, you know, this article from Jacob K-Maker. The extension is in the introductory stage, but I think it's important when you have a generational player like Lamar, you want to hang on him because, like I said, the championship window, is open as long as Lamar's here. When you have a generational talent, a guy that is so good that there's voter fatigue for the MVP last year because he's done this so many years in a row. Like, you need to secure that for the future. And this is a great thing because, you know, we're talking about all these areas. You got to maintain your stars as well. You got to remember what got you there in the first place. You got to take care of your star players. That's going to make team chemistry better as well. Look at the way that Bateman and DeCosta had a little bit of a feud going back and forth. They would have worked that out. I'm not saying there's a feud here or anything, but I love how DeCosta is being preemptive and saying, hey, look, let's go ahead and try to lock this guy up even longer, you know, as long as we can within our power. So, you know, I want to take a look at these statistics here just before we go ahead and talk into this because Mahomes' value is above Jackson's value currently. So I just want to compare the stats here quickly. If we look at Lamar, 17 games, 41 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing TDs, and a QBR of 77.3. Let's go ahead and compare that directly to Mahomes' numbers. 16 games, 26 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, and a QBR of 67.6. Now, it's a thing that's very interesting in sports that we talk about, you know, these values that go along with, you know, players. Is this guy valued the most? But it does send a clear message when, you know, you have a guy like Mahomes or Jackson, you're trying to put them as the top paid guy in the league. It means you value them. It means you have confidence in them. It is a way to, I don't know if inspire is the right word, but to inspire and prove that you have confidence in them. Because if you're saying, hey, look, we're going to make you the highest paid guy in the league, that means we believe you over anyone else. And that's just going to benefit team chemistry more than anything you could do or say in the press. Put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. So now this article from Kingmaker, I wanted to point out something he wrote in this article. Jackson signed his first lucrative extension with the Ravens during 2023. The 5-year, $260 million deal concluded a 2-year negotiation process that DeCosta described as arduous at best and challenging at times. At the time of Jackson's deal, he was the highest paid quarterback in terms of average value. In the years since, Zay has dropped to 10th league-wide per overthecap.com, while his total value ranks 7th overall. Now, here's what DeCosta had to say. We've got a lot of business that we're conducting with different players. In a situation, we're blessed to have most of the team coming back. As we look out over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we're trying to keep as many good players as we can. And this is what I'm talking about. Someone could just say the Ravens, they got this guy coming back. They got one of the best players in the league. The person who should have been the MVP last year. You have to keep going. You have to work to not only bring back the people, but improve. And then by extending the championship window, you are extending your championship hopes overall, your odds to win a championship. DeCosta has done a great job this offseason of not only acquiring new talent like Hopkins, like Starks, like draft, through free agency, through the draft, but also signing these players as well and making sure that this is not going to be a thing where it's like, we got one more shot. No. There's going to be a long string of Ravens dominance going forward because of the way DeCosta has handled this. And I think one thing that's interesting is the way that they're getting on this so early this time, because if it's going to take a long time, and I just think it's a great move from DeCosta because you don't want this spilling over, into the season. And, it's introductory. Go ahead and start the dialogue now. And that's perfect. I love this from DeCosta. I love how, not only he's trying to be preemptive, but how he's trying to, preemptive and trying to get ahead of these contract talks before it becomes something that's like, we're in a situation, it's 2 years down the line, but he's going to sit out because they don't extend. What's going on with this? We want to take care of this before the season. We want to have the focus on football when the season starts. And he's done a great job securing these contracts in the offseason, and I know he's going to do a great job getting Lamar. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is too early to be even in the introductory phase of extending? Do you think it's really needs to get done now, the extension, because you're like, wow, how is the deal 10th and 7 overall in value? Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think about this contract situation, and what do you think the Ravens championship window with Lamar is moving forward? All right, everyone, this has been Ravens Digest. My name is Sam Stewart. We'll see you next time.